Well, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm super excited to have you all here. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Melissa Cosillo, and I'm the Community and Workforce Development Program Manager with LULAC Institute. And I'll be your main point of contact and support for this program. So anything that may come up, please feel free to reach out to me. I am always here to support you in any way that I can. So definitely love to keep those lines of communication open, and we will go ahead and get started. So just as a bit of a heads up, I'm going to go through a presentation. It is a bit lengthy. I do ask that any questions that come up that you please write them down or include them in the chat. And then at the end, we're going to go through a Q&A session. So first off, welcome and congratulations. I'm so excited to be working with you all on this impactful initiative, which is really being piloted this year. So you will see that even throughout the presentation, we're going to be talking about a lot of moments in time where we're going to be asking for your feedback. For us, it's a very exciting project and we want to hear from you. We want to know what's working. We want to know what can be improved because as you all know, it is a 2-year program. So you are coming along with us on this journey to really carry out this initiative that is aiming to improve not only our individuals and families within our community, but our community as a whole. We want to uplift and increase those economic mobility opportunities. So again, thank you all for your work in your communities and for stepping up to apply and take on this project. Now, the first few slides, many of you may be familiar with, so they are going to be a bit of a refresher. But first, we're going to be going through the program model. So as all of you know, it is a 2-year program in which you will be receiving a $20,000 grant per year to recruit a group of adult learners to complete the Google Career Certificate and equip them with in-demand skills, offer professional development opportunities, and connect them with top employers. So during each program cycle, we do ask that you provide the support for scholarship recipients to complete the certificate in 6 months, that you host those weekly office hours to provide ongoing support, that you host 1 monthly 90-minute professional development session, and that you plan and execute 1 career fair. Through this program, we aim to promote participants' confidence and improve their self-esteem towards learning and entering the job market. We want to help participants obtain a job with increased wages and benefits, providing participants the opportunities and resources for leadership development, networking, and the development of workforce and business skills. We want to expose participants to related careers in their certificates, including introductions to professionals that can serve as mentors. And we want to provide participants with a better understanding of the importance of pursuing continued education and certifications. Now for this program, we do ask that you serve 10 to 15 participants. And out of those participants, 70% must complete the course, 80% must attend 1 career fair, and we aim to have 70% rate the course as satisfactory and 60% of low-income job seekers to be placed into jobs. So part of your responsibilities as an awarded site is to provide a physical and/or virtual space to host the program. Now, please keep in mind that in-person activities must follow all local, state, and federal public health guidelines, including social distancing, mask mandates, and any vaccine mandates that may be in effect in your communities. You must manage the recruitment and vetting process to select the scholarship recipients, plan and execute a robust program that prepares scholarship recipients to identify, apply, and succeed in job opportunities, that you oversee certificate completion progress for all scholarship recipients and ensure key milestones are met, that you provide ongoing virtual and/or in-person support, that you maintain regular communication with scholarship recipients throughout the duration of the program, that you complete all reporting requirements as requested by LULAC in a timely manner, and that you utilize funding to meet the outlined program objectives and meet all expected program benchmarks and expectations. Now, funding must be used for the program model and the associated program costs outlined in your approved budgets. So we're going to go through each of the program model components and walk you through what each component is going to look like. First up, we have the Google Career Certificates, which provide people with access to in-demand jobs through rapid reskilling in the fields of IT support, data analytics, project management, and user experience design. So all of you have selected your 2 certificates that you'll be pursuing this first year. During the second year, you will have the opportunity to continue with the same certificates or change them to 2 different ones. To participate in these certificates, no experience is necessary. Learners can learn at their own pace, and these certificates will help scholarship recipients stand out to employers and create a path to in-demand jobs. So next up, I do want to show you a quick video that's going to talk a little bit more about these certificates. And this video is going to be available for you to use if you'd like to use as part of your recruitment efforts.
The current business landscape is constantly changing, creating new technologies and innovations that can be hard to keep up with. These emerging technologies have created over 1 million well-paying jobs in high-growth fields. But there aren't enough qualified candidates to fill those positions. Now there's a way you can fast-track into one of these quickly growing fields, and you don't need any prior experience or education. All you need is the skills, passion, and ambition you already have. Meet Google Career Certificates, online training programs that are designed to prepare you for a new career in data analytics, project management, UX design, Android development, and IT support. With over 80% of certificate graduates reporting a positive career outcome like a new job, promotion, or raise within 6 months, Google Career Certificates were specifically built to help you start a new career.
I applied to 3 or 4 jobs per day. None of them replied. Eventually, I found out about the Google IT Support Professional Certificate. Now, I'm making a real living wage in a job where I feel like I'm actually making an impact.
Experts at Google designed Google Career Certificates to focus on everything you would need to know to land a job in data analytics, project management, UX design, IT support, and Android development. You'll be taught by successful professionals who will guide you through projects based on real-world situations you'd encounter on the job. And once you complete one of the certificate programs, you'll then be able to connect directly with over 130 national and local employers, all of whom will consider Google Career Certificate completers for open positions. You'll also get help writing your resume, interviewing support, and career coaching to set you up for success. Learn on your own time at your own pace. Google Career Certificates were created for busy people who are balancing current jobs, families, or other commitments. Each certificate can be completed in under 6 months with 5 to 10 hours of coursework per week. Google partnered with Coursera, a global training platform, to make the certificates easily accessible to everyone for just $39 per month. So where do you want your career to go? Get started on the path to a new job at grow.google/certificates. The current business landscape.
Okay, so in the video, we do see that there is a cost that comes up as associated. This is where the scholarships come in. So I do want to make sure that that is clear, that there is no cost associated to participate in the certificates or the Coursera platform, but this is more of a general recruitment video, so it does contain that price in there. Now, as mentioned in the video, the certificates are going to be housed in the Coursera platform. these courses do provide self-guided learning, meaning that participants are going to be able to log in at their own time from wherever they are, whether they're at home or in a library, or if you are hosting a space for them to come and participate, they can access the coursework at any time. Now, depending on the certificates that are being pursued, the number of hours does vary a little bit, but we are aiming for that 10 hours per week to make sure that everyone finishes within the 6 months. Once you've selected your scholarship recipients through the application process, you will be submitting those names to myself, and I will be enrolling all scholarship recipients into the Coursera platform. So they will be receiving a notification. What we mainly need to enroll them is that email address, all of which is going to be collected through the application and enrollment packet, which we'll be talking about a little more further down this presentation. Now, it is very important that scholarship recipients do commit to completing the course, since there are a limited number of scholarships and it is one per participant. So we want to make sure that we give those scholarships to individuals who are committed to participating for the entire duration of the program. And we do ask that scholarship recipients are finalized by January 31st. Again, I'll be talking a little bit more about what that process is going to look like, but it is important to keep in mind that it is a pretty quick turnaround in terms of recruiting, selecting, and finalizing the scholarship recipients to make sure that we can be able to get everyone activated with the program and get the technology equipment to everyone by the end of February. Now, you will be receiving a weekly progress report for your learners' progress in the Coursera platform. So I did want to share some of the key terms that are going to be used in the report so that you can better understand what each metric means. So the last course activity means the last time the user interacted with any course item, such as watching a video or reading a note. The overall progress will show how far the user is from completing all available course material. This is in the form of a percentage of how many course items have been completed. Now, please keep in mind that users can complete a course without achieving 100% progress if they choose to skip course items, such as videos or readings. So it is important that all the readings are interacted with, that all the videos are watched to be able to achieve that 100%. The estimated learning hours is the total minutes that a user has spent on continuous learning sessions. So a learning session is defined as a continuous working session of a user on the platform doing page views, starting course items, or completing course items. So as long as the user has not been idle for longer than 60 minutes, the session is a continuous session and the time is counted into learning hours. Now, please keep in mind that these are estimates that Coursera provides, so it won't be an exact count. And the course grades, so that would be the grade calculation of all required assessments and assignments, and this number changes as users progress through the course. So again, we will be providing this weekly report to you all to make sure that you can review and contact anyone who may be falling a bit behind, checking in if there's any situations that arise, but you will have access to this on a weekly basis. Now, Coursera is going to be sending email reminders to learners about specific announcements regarding the courses that they're in, such as upcoming deadlines. But we do ask that you supplement these communication efforts by staying engaged with scholarship recipients. Coursera does have a Learner Help Center, which can answer any questions that learners may have. It also provides technical assistance, platform tutorials, FAQs, and a chat function, where they can talk to a member of their customer support team. So this is going to be a critical link for learners to have, as well as certificate support coordinators. So we want to make sure that this tool is used and that support coordinators can guide learners in the situation where they might not be able to find the exact answers they're looking for, or if they need help navigating the help center, you can go ahead and use this. Now for the weekly office hours portion, we do ask that certificate support coordinators host the weekly office hours to help participants troubleshoot, provide lesson support, and answer tech questions. So office hours should be held on a regular schedule to ensure that scholarship recipients are aware of when they're going to be taking place. And again, the Coursera Learning Help Center is going to be a powerful tool that's going to help support coordinators, help learners navigate any questions or concerns that may arise. Now, if any further assistance is needed, we do ask that you contact LULAC Institute staff and let us know. That way we can go ahead and address any other concerns that cannot be solved with the Help Center. For the professional development sessions, we do ask that you host one 90-minute session every month. And these sessions should really aim to give scholarship recipients the opportunity to come together and participate in group learning. So activities can include cohort discussions, professional development workshops, and opportunities to meet with recruiters and industry professionals. So session topics should be strategically designed to equip scholarship recipients with tools and skills that are going to help them navigate the job market and their professional careers. So keep in mind that all of you will be planning that career fair towards the end of the program cycle. So we want to make sure that scholarship recipients are ready to interact with recruiters, that they have their resumes up to date, that they've been practicing their elevator pitch, their interview skills, everything to be ready for that major moment in time. Now, here are some examples of the topics that can be covered during these sessions. This, of course, is not an exhaustive list. You are more than welcome to include other topics that are not listed here. And many of you have already created that timeline. I will be reviewing the timelines and the budgets and setting up follow-up calls in case there need to be any tweaks made to them. But if you do choose to restructure some of your activities, I do ask that you submit a revised timeline. And you will have access to this presentation as well as the recording. So you can go back and look at any of the information that is presented today more in detail. Now, Google developed creative video-based lessons to prepare learners for the jobs of today and tomorrow. These lessons aim to build digital skills and help learners find, land, and succeed at their next jobs. So this is a resource for you in case you would like to pull any of their lessons to incorporate into your professional development sessions. It is not a requirement, but a resource for you. Next up, we have the career fair. So each site is responsible for planning and executing one career fair each program year. And this career fair is really an opportunity to connect scholarship recipients with top employers in your community who are looking to hire employees in the fields of your selected certificates. So we do ask that career fairs take place no earlier than 4 weeks prior to the completion of the certificates and no later than 3 weeks post the completion of the certificates. We want to make sure that scholarship recipients are either close to that graduation point or have passed it. That way, the postings that employers may present to them are the most relevant, since they are going to be finishing up or recently finished with their certificate. We highly encourage that career fairs are hosted in person. If you choose to carry out a virtual career fair, that is also an option, but we would recommend hosting it in person if public health guidance allow for it. And as we approach the mid-year point of the program, we are going to be providing more resources for the planning of that career fair, including a support guide. And we do have a couple of additional professional development opportunities for you all. So in that onboarding form, we did ask if you would be interested in working with volunteers. There is still time to participate if any of you marked maybe or no, but do want to end up participating, just go ahead and let me know. So through the support of Verizon's network of employees, we do have volunteers who are available to help scholarship recipients prepare to stand out in the job market. So we are going to be, LULAC is going to be coordinating the recruitment of those volunteers. Depending on the response rate, we may be able to pair on a 1-to-1 ratio, or it may be one volunteer to small groups. The earlier we know that you want to participate in these opportunities, the better, so that we can begin those recruitment efforts as early as possible. So if you are interested, we do ask that we set up a date and time slot when these activities will be taking place. And these opportunities can count as your monthly professional development session. So the first opportunity, which would be available in the first half of the program year, is a resume review session where volunteers would help scholarship recipients polish their resume and provide career guidance. The second opportunity, which would take place after the mid-year point, is mock interviews, where volunteers would conduct mock interviews to help scholarship recipients prepare for job interviews. They would be providing feedback and helping learners improve their interviewing skills and self-confidence. Next up, we're going to be talking about recruiting and selecting scholarship recipients. So a quick reminder, we do have the scholarship recipient profile. So participants should be selected according to the following qualifications and criteria. So you should prioritize enrollees who are of Hispanic descent, living in a household with income that does not exceed 200% above the federal poverty guideline. Prioritize participants not having completed a 4-year or other advanced college degree. And as a whole, participants should represent the diversity of the US, especially in terms of underrepresented groups in tech, with priority given to racialized backgrounds, Indigenous, female, LGBTQ+, persons with disabilities, and military veterans and spouses. Selected participants must be knowledgeable in basic computer skills, proficient in reading and writing English. So again, currently the courses are only available in English. So we want to make sure that scholarship recipients, are the ones that are selected, are able to understand the coursework. That they are interested in establishing a career in the field of their selected certificate, and that they are motivated to contribute meaningfully to cohort discussions. Now, selected participants must be committed to enrolling in the certificate program by the deadline provided by LULAC. That means submitting all required paperwork by that deadline, committing a minimum of 10 hours per week to the self-paced certificate coursework learning, completing the certificate in 6 months. Again, many may finish a bit earlier, but as long as 10 hours are dedicated, they will finish in the 6 months. Will they participate in a 190-minute professional development session per month, that they attend one career fair throughout the program year, that they participate in at least 80% of the professional development activities, that they seek employment in the certificate's applicable field within 6 months, and that they complete all surveys, reporting, and evaluation requirements as requested by LULAC, Google, and Coursera. So as you recruit participants, there are several resources available for your use. We want to make sure that you have the tools to activate your network and invite them to share the scholarship opportunity with people who they may know who are interested. We encourage you to share across your social media channels, your websites, or in your newsletters that the opportunity is available. They can watch and share on-demand info sessions and YouTube videos. So Google does provide a lot of recruitment tools that are available for your use. They are linked here. Again, you will be receiving these slides, so you're more than welcome to explore those resources after this presentation. And they also created 1 to 2 page info sheets on the certificates in terms of what opportunities are available, what the coursework looks like, and what the career opportunities are like. So you are invited to email or print those to also use in your recruitment efforts. So we encourage you to reach out to people who would benefit the most from a scholarship for this program, and you can send them messages inviting them to apply through your organization. So when sending emails, we do recommend that you include a visual. We have graphics available for your use where you can insert your organization's logo and download. And they are in a shared Google Drive, which all of you will have access to. We encourage you to link your organization's website or point of contact for more information. So if you will be promoting the application through your website, definitely include that direct link. If you do not have a website where you will be sharing that application, then please make sure that you include a contact email and phone number where potential scholarship recipients can learn more. And include a call to action. So depending on how your organization is identifying scholarship recipients, your call to action may be unique, but it is important to encourage everyone to apply. Now here is a sample email, which is an invitation to apply. We do have several sample templates for your use, so I won't read through them, but they will be available for you to use. Now for social media, we do ask that you tag LULAC and Google Org for our team to amplify your social media posts. We encourage you to include a visual, which again will be available in that shared Google Drive, and link your organization's website or point of contact for more information. Again, we have some sample social media posts here that you can copy and use. Now for the scholarship application. So all individuals who are interested in applying for a scholarship must complete a scholarship application. You will be selecting the top 10 to 15 candidates and presenting them to LULAC staff for final approval. It is the lead program coordinator's responsibility to select the potential candidates in a timely manner and inform LULAC once they have been selected. So we do ask that you let us know 3 to 5 business days, that you give us the final listing 3 to 5 business days prior to when they're going to be approved. So we do need some time to review those applications. And we will be scheduling a follow-up call if we have questions about any of the applicants. Now we must approve them prior to you releasing notifications of them receiving awards. Now, in the onboarding form, we did ask if you were interested in more scholarships. We can provide up to 20 scholarships per site. The requirement is 10 to 15, but if you have a great turnout and you see that there is a need and there is capacity within your organization, you may have up to 20 participants. Now for the scholarship application, we have created a template here for your use. So it is linked, and I do want to walk you through it because it will need some edits from your part. So the first step is to click on this Use Template button, which will create your own copy of the scholarship application, which you'll be able to edit. So you'll see that a lot of the information is very basic information that will apply to all sites, but there are some highlighted portions which ask you to update the contact email, the deadline, the points of contact. So please go through the application and update all the information that is highlighted in yellow. We do recommend that once the application has been updated with your information, that you turn it into a PDF and make it fillable. If you need any help making the PDF fillable, please feel free to contact me and I'm happy to help with that. First up, the application asks for personal information, contact information, employment information, and we will be providing a general rubric to help you in that scholarship selection process. Now, this portion right here, the digital literacy and tech equipment needs, is important. We want to make sure that scholarship recipients are knowledgeable in basic computer skills. We want to know if they have a laptop or desktop to participate in the program. Again, they will be receiving one, but we want to have that information from the get-go for us to have those counts and see who may need some additional support. This portion right here, please update it with the certificates you're going to be offering and only include those options. And we do have an availability section. Again, please update to when you are planning to host weekly office hours as well as professional development sessions to see which applicants may be available during those times. And we do have an application essay. So we are asking that all applicants submit a 500-word essay noting what impact participating in the program would have in their life. And that is the entire scholarship application. Once you have received those applications and you have selected the participants, scheduled some time to connect with us, get them approved, and they have been approved, the next step is enrolling them in the program. So this enrollment packet is going to serve as that official notification that they have been selected to participate. It's important to keep in mind that these packets need to be submitted by January 31st. So by January 31st, we do need to have the final number of how many scholarship recipients you will be having for your program. Very similarly to the application, this is also going to be a template, and this actually contains all the forms that participants would need to fill out to become active in the program. Again, we have those highlighted sections. Please make sure you update accordingly. Contact information, emergency contact information, a few additional questions which may be useful for you to keep in mind. So any allergies, any dietary restrictions, if you plan on hosting in-person sessions with food, and any additional needs they may have to help us support them in the program. We do have the commitment and responsibilities, which we've gone through, but we want to make sure that they are aware when enrolling in the program. The technology and equipment supplies agreement. So we do ask that they read this thoroughly. These are all the terms and conditions for receiving that Chromebook and any additional tech supplies. The agreement does note that this is the property of LULAC until they finish the program, at which time there will be a transfer of property and they can go ahead and keep the equipment. please go ahead and update where it says organization name to your LULAC council or your organization. A media release form to be able to take any photos or videos of participants. A COVID-19 assumptions of risk release and waiver of liability agreement. So very important, especially if you're hosting in-person activities. But we want to make sure that we have this on file, even if you are hosting only remote virtual activities, in case at any point you decide to switch over to in-person. A COVID-19 symptoms questionnaire for them to complete, and keep in mind if they're participating in in-person activities, and a short entry survey. Now, based on your final cohort size, we will be coordinating the purchase of the technology, equipment, and supplies. Because of this reason, it is so important that we have that final cohort number by January 31st. We will be using the first week of February to order any additional pieces of equipment, especially those Chromebooks, once we have those final numbers, and mailing them out to each of your sites. So you should be receiving all the equipment by mid-February, at which time it is your responsibility to distribute that equipment and get everyone activated by the end of February. So you'll have those final 2 weeks. We do encourage you to still engage participants during the first 2 weeks while you're waiting for the equipment. And at that time, you can host an orientation session or a check-in, but please do keep scholarship recipients engaged while you wait for that equipment to arrive. Now, at the time of distributing the equipment, we do have a distribution form that we ask that you complete and sign. So this technology equipment is the same one that's included in the enrollment packet, but we want to provide it as a reminder, make sure that it's reread and that they understand all the terms. And we do have a distribution form. My recommendation is to complete these forms prior to the distribution date. So please go ahead and include the device make, model, and serial number for that Chromebook, and any additional supplies that you're going to be distributing. And then at the bottom, it's a signature page for the person receiving the equipment to sign on the day of, and for the individual distributing the equipment to also sign. Please have printed copies of this, as it's the easiest way to sign. And we do ask that you submit these back to LULAC by February 28th. Now, for staying engaged with scholarship recipients, we encourage you to send check-ins, whether it's through phone, email, or text message. In the enrollment form, we do ask scholarship recipients what their preferred method of communication is. So you'll actually have that information available for you to use. Some tips are to make it personal, to encourage recipients to share any resources that you have available, and to make specific requests, such as inviting them to join office hours or reminding them of the upcoming professional development session. We encourage you to highlight scholarship recipient success stories through social media. So these are some tips for finding and sharing great stories. And we do ask that if you want to have any traditional media sources cover your program, such as news sources, or if you want to release a press release, please go ahead and let us know so we can get those proper approvals. We have a sample email here for your use, a sample email for office hours, a sample email for program ambassadors, and a sample email to congratulate scholarship recipients. Next up, we're going to be talking about reporting. So we do have two main portals, which are going to be used for reporting. We have the coordinator portal, which is going to contain the links to all the templates and all the submission forms for your reports. Now, many of the surveys and submission forms are housed through JotForm. So just something to keep in mind if you are familiar with JotForm. Let me go ahead and open this up so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so here you'll see that the communications timeline is shared. You can actually click on the titles and it'll take you straight to the meeting. It is linked with the meeting link. So if you ever don't have access to your calendar or need an additional reminder, you can just access the portal and connect through there. For the reporting requirements, you will see that it is listed by the deadline. You're able to access the same templates that I shared by clicking in this link, and to submit them, you can click on the title and it'll be a box where you can upload those files. The same thing for the quarter reports. In the quarterly impact report, that is the submission link for that impact report as well as the financial report. Here you can access the template for that quarterly report. And for the financial report, each of you will have a unique template. So I'll actually be sharing that with you. And I'll be going through these reports a little more in detail, but I did want to show you the portal. And then we have some additional resources. So again, you will have access to a shared Google Drive, and I will be linking the coordinator training recording once it's available. Participants will also have a portal where they can log in to submit any other reporting materials that are required, such as the participant spotlight. So again, I'll be going through this a little more in detail, but you will be selecting the participant spotlights. So please ask them to log into the portal and complete the form. We do have a mid-year and a final survey, which will be linked. And the post-program survey, again, will be linked, and some resources for them. Please familiarize yourself with the resources that are available to learners in case any questions do come up. So of course, the office hours that you will be hosting, they are unique to each site, so they are instructed to contact their local program coordinator. The Coursera Learner Help Center, which we went through. The Coursera Learner Guide. So this we did not go through, but it is a PDF that's going to give them a lot of information about enrolling and participating and using the Coursera platform. So it's not unique to the certificates, but it's more general for the Coursera platform. And these apply digital skills. So while you can host a session where you teach the lesson, there are lessons that are available also as self-guided lessons, which they can participate in if they're interested in learning more. Next up, we have the scholarship recipient recruitment forms. So these are the materials that are going to be due, which we already went over. Again, the scholarship applications, the recipient enrollment packets, which are due. Here it says to email them, but that's going to actually be updated to for you to submit to this portal that we were talking about that is linked in the coordinator portal. So again, all reporting requirements are listed and linked in the coordinator portal. We do also have a recruitment progress report, which is a short survey that we're asking for you to complete on the 15th of January and the 31st to let us know how those recruitment efforts are going. Again, it's very, very important that we do finalize that cohort by the end of January. So we want to make sure that if there's any additional support that we can provide you, that we are aware of it and we can help you out with. And the technology distribution forms, which we also went through, which will be due on February 28th. For the quarterly reports, we do have them due at the end of February, April, June, and August. And the templates will all be the same. So something to definitely keep in mind. It is in a Google Sheet, which is like a Google's version of Excel. They are separated by unique tabs. So the first tab is an impact narrative. We do ask that you submit a 250 to 300 word summary of your program's impact, successes, and any lessons learned during the quarter. For the activity report, please document all program activities administered by program staff. So this includes 90-minute professional development sessions, as well as office hours. And if you have any additional activities that are directly related to the program, please go ahead and include them there as well. For the attendance report, we do ask that where it says date, you insert the date of the activity that you're documenting for, that you include the student name of your entire cohort, and that you place a 1 under those who did attend. So at the bottom, it'll give you the total attendance for each activity. The marketing and communication report is going to ask you for the program promotion strategy, so how you're highlighting the program in your local community, and the social media promotion that you are carrying out. So we do ask that a minimum of 2 social media posts are published during every quarter. So please go ahead and report them here. Now, if it doesn't have to be 2 per platform, but it can be 2 across any of your platforms. If your council or organization does not have a social media account, please get in contact with me. And we do ask that you submit any photos or videos of program activities, and those can be uploaded through that quarterly impact report submission link. Now, your financial report is going to also be in an Excel format, but it'll be a different file. Again, this is going to be unique to every site. So in the first tab, you're going to see the approved budget. We are still reviewing budgets, and we'll be scheduling one-on-one check-in calls with each of you. So if there needs to be any changes to your budget, we will be notifying you of that. We will also be notifying you if the budget you submitted as part of your proposal was approved. So in this first tab, it does contain the budget that is either approved or that you submitted. You do not need to do anything with this first tab. The Excel sheet actually contains a lot of formulas that are going to be updating the numbers automatically. So in this first tab, nothing needs to be done on your end. What we do ask is that in the tab that is for the quarter you're submitting the report, that you document all expenses that were directly related to the program. So we do ask that this be on a receipt by receipt basis. And we do have sections for every line item category. If you need additional sections, please just go ahead and add additional rows, and it shouldn't change the formulas. Because it can get pretty lengthy, we do have a table of contents sort of section up here that's actually linked to the sections, so you can jump to the section you want to document under. And we do ask that copies of all receipts are submitted during that quarterly impact report submission form. Now, a quick reminder, we are providing $13,000 as part of that monetary stipend to cover any expenses directly related to running the program. So these are going to be released in the form of checks in accordance with 1-year LOAs, which you all have submitted, your mid-year report, and your final report. $7,000 will be that technology stipend to purchase the tech equipment and supplies for the scholarship recipients. So we will be giving you a rundown of how much was actually used for the purchase based on how many participants you have. And any leftover funding will be able to be reallocated to other expenses that you may have. Now we have some additional funding guidelines. So the combined allocation for the lead program coordinator stipend and the certificate support coordinator stipend cannot exceed $3,400. We ask that overhead costs also do not exceed $2,000. Funding cannot be used for subsidizing the cost of healthcare, lobbying, advocating, or political activities, construction, renovating facilities or homes, or payments for rent, subsidizing individuals for the cost of attending professional or personal development conferences, and substituting for funds currently being used to support similar activities. And Year 2 funding is contingent on consistent accounting practices in accordance with nonprofit best practices, Google Career Certificates Program, and LULAC Institute guidelines, and a review of Year 1 activities to make sure that benchmarks have been satisfactorily met. For the participant spotlight, we do ask that you select a minimum of 2 participants per quarter. And this is a brief summary of the questions that they're going to be asked. So really wanting to learn more about their experience participating in the program and any advice they might share with future participants. And this form is linked through that participant portal so they can access. For the office hours impact report, we do ask that the certificate support coordinator fill this out since they're really taking the lead in that portion of the program. And here's a quick summary again of the questions that would be asked. And these are up already in case you all want to look at them, but we do ask that they are submitted in according with those deadlines. Now for the mid-year report, which is due at the same time of the Q2 report, we have 2 additional components, the participant survey. So this is going to be a quick form that's really going to help us get a better understanding of what participants' needs are to better plan that career fair. So it's very, very important that participants do fill it out. And it's going to be providing insight on their career aspirations and any help they may need. The lead program coordinator survey is also going to provide insight on your experience with the program. And as I mentioned earlier, for us, that feedback is super important. So please fill those out with as much detail as you can. Now, as part of the final report, which will be due along with the Q4, we do have participant surveys. It's going to be a pretty short form similar to that entry survey. So about 15 questions, more or less, to gauge what impact the program had. The lead program coordinator survey, again, getting your feedback on your experience with hosting the program, and the certificate support coordinator survey, getting your feedback on the impact of office hours and any ways that we can improve that opportunity in the future. Additionally, we will be asking for a couple of materials for Year 2 of your program cycle. We will be asking for a timeline as well as a budget that you would like to implement during Year 2. Now for the post-programming surveying, we do want to keep in touch with those scholarship recipients who completed the certificate and get a better understanding of what the impact of these certificates has been. So we will be sending out reminders at the 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, and 12-month mark. It's important to just remind participants that they are going to be receiving these to make sure that they're on the lookout and that they complete it. And these questions right here is what will be presented. And they're actually yes or no questions, so it shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes for them to complete the survey. Now we are going to be having cohort check-in calls on a monthly basis. The join meeting link is going to be the same for all calls. Again, these are linked in the portal. If you ever don't have access to your calendar, you can access the call through there. Here are the dates when they will be taking place, and they'll be taking place from 12 to 12:30 p.m. Central Time. So please make sure that you make the time to attend. If you're ever not able to attend, please let me know. And if there is anyone who can attend in your place, such as the support coordinator, we would highly encourage that someone attend. And during these calls, you'll be receiving updates about the program. We'll be available to answer any questions you may have and provide any other announcements. We also have optional office hours, which you can call into on a bi-weekly basis. Again, these are optional, but it will be at a time when our staff is going to be available to answer any questions you may have. If you have any updates you would like to share, that's a great time to call in. Now, if it's an update that you would prefer to schedule a separate time to connect on, then we can certainly go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and let me know. But they will be taking place on Tuesdays from 12 to 1 p.m. Central Time, beginning on January 11th. And the meeting link is going to be the same for all office hours. Now, some of the office hours do coincide with the check and call schedule. So if they ever overlap, the check-in meeting is what will be scheduled in that place. Next up, we have branding guidelines. So for LULAC, we do ask that you don't alter, rotate, or modify the LULAC logo when using it for promotional materials. We did provide the color numbers as well as the fonts that we typically use for branding for your access. And we have also provided them for Google. So here you have the colors that they use in case you want to create your own promotional materials so that they can align with the branding. Now, I've been mentioning this shared Google Drive throughout the presentation. Again, you will all be receiving access to this shared drive, and in it, you'll be able to find editable templates for graphics in which you can insert your program logo and download those graphics. It contains logos and additional program resources. If anyone else on your team needs access to this drive, please let me know so I can go ahead and add them. And as next steps, we will be sending a follow-up email with all of the relevant links and reporting templates for your individual sites. I do want to upload this recording and link it on there so it may, for the next day. But please for that link. We're getting some background noise. If I could have participants mute themselves, please. Thank you. You'll also be receiving calendar invites for check-in calls, optional office hours, and reporting deadline reminders. At this time, I want to open it up for any questions you may have, and I am happy to answer.
Hi, Melissa. This is Roger from LNESC of Dallas, Texas, and LULAC Counselor 272. I did have a question regarding the course for Coursera. Will the lead program coordinator have like an administrator account so that they can see the progress that students are making? Or will we just have to rely on students giving us weekly reports to show us that they're on track and making progress?
You won't have access to the course content. However, you will have a progress report that we're sending to you that contains the progress that each individual enrollee is making. So you'll be able to see what percentage of the course has been completed, how many hours have been dedicated to it, and what that grade is for each participant. And we'll
And
be sharing that on a weekly basis.
perfect, you beat me to it. So, the other question I had was regarding the career fair. In the event that, let's say, there is a technology career fair that's available for our city or our community, is there any way that we can use that, or do we have to devise our own career fair? And that's, does it have to be just our own career fair that we devise?
We do ask that it's your own career fair, since the participants or the companies that are recruited into the career fair should be aware of the specific certificates that participants were recruiting. So we do want it to be very targeted. However, we highly encourage that if there are any local career fairs in your community, that you share that with participants.
And then the other question was, is there any need for supplemental documents that need to be submitted with the application? I know there was one for like the federal poverty guidelines, not exceeding 200%. I don't know if there's any additional documentation that's required in the application other than application itself.
For that, the first step would be that application. And in there, we do ask what their household income is, as well as what their personal income is. So you can measure that against the guideline. Now, for once the scholarship recipients have been selected, we do ask that they complete the enrollment packet, which is where all of those supplemental forms are included. It is one PDF packet that contains everything, but some of those forms include the media waiver, the technology agreement, the commitments and responsibilities signature form, and an entry survey. So all of the information that you need to select participants will be gathered through the application.
Got it.
Now, if you have any additional information that you need from participants that you would like to include, just let us know. We would like to see that prior to being included, but it can be included in the application.
Perfect. And I guess the very last question is, and I think you kind of already touched up on it, regarding the application itself of the program, and then there's the applicant or the recipient paperwork. And so would you advise that we do a rolling admission, or do just kind of stepwise where we get all of our applications in and then select our cohort and then have everyone complete the recipient packet?
We would prefer to see you collect all the applications and then select the cohort to make sure that the applicants that you do select are those who can be the best fit for this program. But we do ask that you turn over those applications to our team that you want to select for a final approval. So on our end, we really just want to review those applications, make sure there's no any flags that we may bring to your attention. It should be a pretty quick turnaround. We'd be looking at 3 to 5 days max. But we would prefer to receive all of those applications together.
Got it. And then the last question I have is just the technology. And so I'm not very familiar with the Chromebooks per se, but I imagine that there's going to probably be some initial setup that's required for the devices. Would we be setting up our own kind of administrator account for that equipment, or will they first have an administrator account set up before that equipment is delivered to the center? I think that's it. That's my last question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So the equipment that we're looking to send to you would not need any setup. because the course is internet-based, they would be able to log in just through the internet, but there wouldn't need to be any setup on your end.
Melissa?
Melissa, can you
Yes.
hear? It's Diane Olmos from Houston, Texas, Council 4967. My question is, how soon will we be able to access this video that was explanatory of the Google certificate program? Because I'd like to provide our partners with this so that we can begin to recruit. So how soon will we get that?
So I'm hoping to get everything to you either by the end of today or tomorrow. All I need is for this video to upload, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer just based on internet connection. But by tomorrow, you'll have access to this presentation, and you'll be able to go through all the links that have the video. So there is this video, but I would also flag for you that on their YouTube channel, there are videos that are unique to every certificate. So that's going to be a really great resource to recruit for your selected certificates.
Yes, very good. Okay, well then I'll wait to get that and get started. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
I have two questions, Melissa. This is Minerva from Lula Cadencia and Colleen.
Hi, Minerva.
Hey, hi, first question. So in planning our own career fair, is it going to be limited to the recipients, or is this something that we can do in our community and invite other people outside our recipients as well?
So we would like for that priority to be given to the recipients, but what you can go ahead and do is have it be based on a schedule. So for example, if the career fair is going to be taking place from 1 to 4 p.m., we would prefer to see like the 1 to 2 be for scholarship recipients only, and then after a certain hour, you can open it up for the whole community. So we definitely want to make sure that we're including the community, but that priority is given to recipients.
Okay, thank you. And one other question, I was trying to find it in the initial packet and I couldn't. This is strictly 18 and older, but I think I read something about if they're graduating senior or like a senior that would graduate, for example, this week when school gets out. Is that an option?
So if they are graduating, like you mentioned, this week, for example, yes, and they will most likely be 18 years or older. But we do want that priority to be given to adults. So seniors, we would look at it on a case-by-case basis, but that could be an option.
Thank you.
I have a quick question, Melissa. You did mention, sorry, my camera's like everywhere here. And I put in the chat box, but I don't know if I got this part confused, but if it's 7,000 for spending on technology, is that including in the equipment you're sending to us, or that apart from what we can spend, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the 7,000 is what's going to be used to purchase those Chromebooks and the tech supplies. So we're going to be coordinating those purchases to purchase in bulk, get the best prices that we can, and then we will submit rundown, so almost like a receipt of what was purchased, and any leftover funding from that 7,000 can be reallocated to other expenses. But that is what's going to be used for that equipment.
And once we're done with the program, do we send the equipment back, or is that for, or how does that work?
So as long as the scholarship recipient finish the certificate and the program, they're able to keep that piece of equipment. Now, if let's say the recipient doesn't want the equipment and wants to send it back, then there would be a process for that. But they are welcome to keep the equipment as long as they finish the certificate.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, then I will go ahead and give everyone 17 minutes back of their day. But thank you so, so much for joining me today. I'm super excited to work with you all. So if you, again, need anything from now to the end of the year or throughout the program cycle, definitely let me know. But I really do encourage you to start those recruitment efforts before the end of the year, just to get a head start. As you all have heard multiple times by now, we do need that cohort to be finalized by January 31st. So the earlier, the better. But if no one has any other questions, then thank you so much.
Thanks, Melissa.
Have a great one.
Thank you, you too.